What's up, metas? If you guys are coming into tier 4 and you're looking for a good farming route to start acquiring some materials, looking to, craft your tier 5 gear, maybe just craft some offsets, maybe you need to make your benches and all that stuff, or even if you're just looking to farm blueprints, and you're looking for the best method, perhaps a good route for farming, a chance of getting some blueprints, such as the rare metal shelf blueprint, I've got a great method here for you, a great route for you, that will take you about 15 to 20 minutes to do the whole route. And if you time it right, you can do the whole route back to back when the server resets. And you're going to get a lot of materials. You're going to hit multiple gear and weapon crates. You're going to hit multiple storage crates, and a lot of containers, which is one of the best ways to farm blueprints. So we're going to run the video here while we talk over it a little bit at increased speed. Feel free to slow down the video if you want to watch the route more closely in any particular section. Then at the end of the video, we will show the amount of materials we get in a single run, which is quite significant, more than enough materials than you should need to do a lot of your early crafting. And then we will show a map with some points on it that will give you a better idea of exactly what the route is and where everything is at, in case you want to modify it or you want to skip any parts of it in particular that you don't feel like you need. So without further ado, I will catch you in the next section. All right, so here we're going to be starting the run. The run starts just right outside Blackfell, which is where you're going to be when you're coming into this tier anyway. First place you'll probably end up visiting. Pointing out a couple of chests here that I had already looted as I was sort of running through the route with my friend and prepping everything. Make sure you hit all these different containers in the hotel, get these trash cans, run through every room. This is really especially relevant if you're trying to do the blueprint farming, because you really want to hit as many containers as you can. But there's materials galore all through places like these hotels. So as you're running through here, just kind of do your snap and grab all the containers in every single room. This is kind of probably one of the more lengthy sections in just kind of one place, just because there's so many containers in the hotel and so many rooms. But it's well worth it, as you can probably already see. And as I mentioned before, if you want to analyze the route in any particular way or anything, always keep in mind you can slow down the video on YouTube's end if you need to. And if you do that, it should let you be able to view the route in more detail. And as I said, at the end of the video, we'll also show a map so you can kind of get a good idea of where all these locations are. This is another decent little looting spot. A lot of individual items on the shelves. Your snap, you got your weapon crate here behind the counter. Another storage crate, in the back room, and some more stuff scattered across the shelves. Resummon your motorcycle here, as you're gonna have to go on a little bit of a journey up here. I try to avoid hitting my friend here and end up stuck in the fence. That's what karma gets you. No good deed goes unpunished, as they say. But you'll cruise down the road here and go into this gate, into this sort of farm shop area here. Another gear crate in here. So you can see these gear crates and stuff start stacking up pretty quickly. This is also a really good way to farm up mods. If you haven't had a chance to farm up a lot of mods in a previous season, you're looking to get some legendaries. Maybe this is, you're finding this video on like your first season. It's a really good way to get mods too, is running through these gear crates and stuff like that and grabbing those over and over and over again. They have a high chance of dropping legendary mods, which is really nice when you don't have very many of them. Another gear crate on top of this building. You can kind of run down the street here. Also feel like it's worth noting that I did this run under leveled and under geared, sort of intentionally, just to show that you don't even have to be in tier 5 gear in order to make this run successful. I mean, you can do this as soon as you get here and you're ready for these mats. I forget exactly what level I am at this point, but I'm under level 40. I think I even hit 40 in this video. So I'm kind of a little bit weak for this zone. But you know, like I say, I kind of did that intentionally just to show like, hey, you don't even have to be geared up in order to make this run. So it's a very viable run just for getting your intro set of mats in order to craft the tier 5 gear in the first place. See, there's another legendary mod. I think I was in tier 3 gear at this time. Now, you might not be able to kill, you know, some of the elites, like, you know, the Scorcher or something like that. You may have to dodge some of the elites on your first run or two if you don't have all the materials to get to tier 5, or even if you're not quite high enough level. But, you know, just dodge around these guys and don't actually fight them, and you should be fine. The regular enemies really aren't that big of a deal as long as you've got at least tier 3, as I have here. But realistically, you probably should even have like tier 4 at this point. I kind of was lazy about it and didn't really upgrade my gear, so that's on me. But you could have better gear than even I have at this point in the video. I am running with my friend, who is also not maxed out and fully geared out either. But, you know, the advantage we do have at this point is we did play previous seasons, so we have some mods and weapons and stuff like that that we brought over. We're able to craft. So we do have some like legendary gear and mods. So we're a little bit of a cut above the standard new player would be at this point, but it's still totally viable to do as long as you take your time and play careful. We're also on the hard mode server as of the recording of this, so everything hits a bit harder. Everything's a little bit scarier. So especially if you're not even on a hard mode server, this should be even more viable for you to do, even more easier for you to do. Run through all these rooms again, lots of containers to loot from, which is, you know, you can see here I'm getting blueprints and drops. As we had previously mentioned, this is a great way to farm for blueprints as well. So it's sort of like you just get a little bit of everything on this run. You know, you get a chance to get mods, you get gear, you get the ability to craft. Here my friend ran into the balloon elite and unfortunately was downed because that guy hits really hard. Even when you're geared appropriately, that is probably, honestly, probably the scariest elite in the game that you can just encounter out in the world randomly, in my experience. That guy can mess you up really fast with the amount of damage he can do. And then you're just kind of running through this neighborhood again. There's weapon crates and gear crates just kind of scattered all over the place, and lots of little rooms to loot. And then, you know, jump back on your motorcycle, cruise down out of the neighborhood. There's a quick crate here, excuse me, on the basketball court. This house coming up here is a little bit tricky to loot, just because there's like a couple of spots that are a little bit like kind of glitchy and like, you know, they're hidden around like kind of corners and stuff like that. So, you know, just kind of take your time, be thorough as you come through here. Again, lots of containers. You want to hit all of these, especially if you're doing blueprints, to maximize your run. There's another blueprint there. And a lot of these blueprints can only be found in the world. And while they're all cosmetic and just for fun, I know if you're anything like I am, and I know a lot of players in this game are, you enjoy the base building and customization a lot. This one's a little bit tricky. You got to jump up here and kind of crouch and climb into this little corner. Getting back out this time was a little trickier than getting in. So yeah, that house is kind of one of the more tedious, I guess you could say, like looting adventures, because there's just so many containers and they're in such like oddball spots, and that little kind of get glitchy spot. I actually ended up running back through here again just to be sure. And then there's some spots down here in the pool and around the outer perimeter of the pool and stuff like that. Again, the trash cans. I don't know who has giant restaurant size trash cans on their pool patio, but you know, hey, whatever, you know, it's our gain at this point. I don't even know how the trash man gets to those dumpsters, considering they're behind the fence, but you know, let's not talk about it. Here I get stuck because my friend bumped me off the sidewalk. So a lot of the multiple times in this run is me getting my motorcycle stuck due to my friend being in my way. You know, but hey, that's you know, that's what friends are for, right? You know, that's just how it is. Take a little cruise through the desert here, dodge all the player bases and hidden rocks in the foliage the best that you can. More player bases, player bases. This place is just player base bonanza over here. We even like kind of go right. Yeah, here I just go right through a player's base because it didn't fully render in yet. But hey, that's fine. When you come over here, look out for these drill guys. They are definitely scary. They're one of the scarier things in the middle of this run. There's the level 40, as I mentioned. See, I wasn't even level 40 yet. So I really couldn't have even worn tier 5 gear, and yet I was still able to kind of run through here. Gear crate on top of this building. And what you want to do at this point, if you can, is have a spring legs potion available to you, which normally I have it on my bar, and I didn't have it on my bar here, and I was trying to go through my inventory to find my spring legs, and then I got attacked by an enemy, and I ended up dying because, again, I am under-leveled, under-geared. So, you know, be smarter than me. Have your spring legs on your bar. Probably even pop it at the beginning of the run. That way you can just utilize it. And then I immediately get downed again. I don't know what even kept me there. I think his body exploded or something. My contamination is very, very high because my gear is so under-leveled for this zone. So that does make me pretty fragile, on top of the fact that I don't have great protection up. So just be aware of that if you're running through here and you're under geared as well. The spring legs are going to help you get to some of these kind of spots where you can jump up and just sort of bypass stuff. You can go around, but you know, this does make it a lot easier. You can shoot this elite from up on the catwalks if you want to deal with the elites and get like some more loot chances out of that. Also a fun way to farm your specimens if for some reason you don't have all your specimens in the event that's currently going on. And just kind of drift on down through here, through all this construction equipment, into this little area. And there's a tricky spot here where I was jumping up in the wrong place at first. You got to jump to the side here. So be aware of that. You need to jump over at an angle to hit that climb spot. Gear crate here. Again, you can walk around and go up like the normal way, but spring legs does speed it up and make it a little safer. Drift across here, another elite. Again, you could choose to fight that or skip it, depending on your gear level and if you're able to do enough damage, or you're running with a friend or anything like that. Wipe out these couple of zombies and yet another weapon crate. We're getting down to the end of the run now. Now I'm going to show you how much loot we actually got out of that full route. And you'll see here it is quite a lot. So there is all the loot that we acquired from doing the entirety of that run. We'll open up the old inventory here. So as you can see, there's a lot of loot we got out of this run. More than enough to make it worthwhile. Especially rare stuff like those plastics and those parts and stuff like that, the fabrics. Like this is going to get you well on the way to getting everything you need to get for your tier 5 increase once you hit level 40 and you're running around this Blackfell area. So next we're going to show the map here that actually shows the entirety of the route we just took. As you can see here, my arrow is over there at the beginning of the route. You can really, or at the end of the route, excuse me. You can run it either direction. Realistically, you could start at the end and work backwards, or you could just teleport over to Blackfell and go straight over to here and start here. For some context on what exactly you're looking at here, the blue are gear and weapon crates. So these blue dots are gear and weapon crates. And the purple were just spots that have a lot of loot and containers in them. This was obviously the hotel that we started with at the very beginning. So you would start here and then come across the hotel and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This was like the house kind of thing where we did a lot of running around before we came over to the refinery area off into the desert. So it's as you can see when you're looking at it on the actual map, it's a pretty basic route. It's very straightforward, and you're just going to be hitting a lot of places just sort of in line with each other, and you won't have to do a whole lot of even moving between areas. The biggest transition is when you come out of the sort of suburban area out here to the refineries, but that's just like sort of a short drive over there, and you just hit these couple of ones really quickly. You can do this pretty fast. And if you time it right, the server loot chest reset every 4 hours, starting at what I believe is 12 a.m. Eastern time. So if you can route plan correctly, how long it actually takes you to do it, say it takes you 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever, time it out how long it takes you to do it generally, and then, you know, start the route, you know, say if it's about 30 minutes till the reset, run your route and then hit the reset, and you'll be able to run the route again immediately. So you can do a back-to-back run every like 4 hours, right? The only thing to note with this is when it does hit the reset, as I've noticed, you do need to re-log in order to get everything to sort of refresh. I don't know why, you know, it requires like sort of a relog like that, but in my experience, it does. So, you know, hit the route, let the timer tick over, relog, and then run the route in reverse. So if you decide to start over here and you end up here at the end, you know, do your relog here and then just run it backwards, and you'll be able to hit both in one run. Pretty easy. Or if that's too confusing for you, I mean, you can always teleport back to Blackfell and run it the normal way, but either way, it works really easily. And like I said, I'll say that again, the resets happen every 4 hours, starting at about 12 a.m. EST. So you can hit this route many times throughout the day, probably at least twice in a gaming session if you're somebody who, you know, tends to be around for, you know, 4 or 5 hours of a gaming session in the evening after work or whatever. And the amount of materials you're going to get is a lot of materials. So hopefully that helps you guys out. And I will include a link to this image as well in the video description, so you can pull that up for your own reference on your other monitor or what have you, if you want to keep track of that. All right, hopefully that is going to help you guys out, help you get your blueprints, help you get your tier 5 materials for your gear, and let you get all your stuff crafted up. Show it to your friends, share it around if it helped you out. Please consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel, as it's the best way to support what I do here. And if you guys know any other great routes, or you have any thoughts on the route, please feel free to drop down in the comments below as well. I do read every single comment and try to respond to almost all of them if they're productive. And I hope you guys are having as much fun with Once Human as I have been. And I will catch you guys in the next one. And as always, happy hunting out there.